when you're growing up as a child, I don't know, you know, your relationship with your parents and things and your friends, and you hear someone say, oh, such a person's killed themselves, how selfish of them, how could they do that? And, you know, that kind of sticks with you. I can't control these thoughts that are in my head. I don't want to be having these thoughts. This is like someone who's torturing me in my mind, but they keep popping in. I can't get rid of them. And, you know, because there isn't that understanding, you feel really ashamed to share it, and you feel really weak.
If you feel like it's selfish, then you're not going to talk to anyone about it.
No.
Then you're just going to keep spiralling down. And then you almost, if you hear someone actually say like, oh, that's so selfish to think that way, then that's sort of like pushing you towards the metaphorical cliff. I didn't want to do it. I knew I didn't want to do it, but you can't
think of anything.
You can't think of any other way when you're like that.
When I go in that the darkness in that place, I couldn't tell you what I'm going to do in the next few seconds, because it's gone. The gloom's dropped, the shadows are there, there's no reason to carry on. People say to you that, oh, it's selfish, you know, don't you think of everyone? I'm not even thinking about myself.
It's just so difficult to kind of articulate how you feel at that moment, because you're not thinking logically. So to try and think back to when you were not thinking, when you were thinking about killing yourself, or those thoughts, I'm thinking quite logically now. To think back to that time, I can't relate to that. It's almost like a different, well, it's not different me, but a completely different mindset.
It almost is a different person
It
to
is,
what you
yeah,
are right
it's...
now, because I think, oh, that won't happen again, but
no,
it probably
but it
will.
Does, but it does,
It's almost like you feel things a lot more than other people do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you do, again, you get people saying, you shouldn't be so sensitive, stop being an old woman, something like that. And you think, well, do you know what, I'm not taking this all on board because I want to take it. I'm not in control of these thoughts.
And actually it's real, it's happening for you, it's in your head.
6 months ago was when I had my first real intent of suicide, because I felt like there was no reason to live anymore. I felt like I'd lost everything in life. I felt like I was worthless, there was no point. On that day, I was rushed to the GP, who then sent me straight to A&E and said I should be admitted. I had to wait 6 hours in A&E, and I'd already self-harmed. And then at about 10 o'clock at night, I got someone come through and say, so what's wrong? And I couldn't really explain. And then I was told I'd have to wait about 6 months for treatment. And I think we can all agree, when you're in that crisis, because that is when you're in crisis, you can't wait another minute, let alone another 6 months.
It makes it worse.
So, because when you're like that, you cannot see any other way. There is no other option.
My personal experience came after I'd had a failed business venture about 11, 12 years ago. Lost a lot of money, was drinking quite a lot, was just buying a new house, had just had a family, so mortgage, children, money, worries, etc., etc. And first of all, it came out as really, really severe panic and anxiety, and I got that under control. And then what I was left with after that was this really kind of worn out, reflecting individual who was starting to probably feel a bit calmer, but was left with this kind of, say, washing machine on spin of information and worry and concern that was left in my head.
It's like you lose all hope, but you know, 2 weeks after what happened to me, when I was still in a very bad place, I got a job interview for where I work now. And I never in a million years, at that point I was convinced I was a failure. So to see where I am now, I'm not glad that it happened, but it's something that I will always be able to look back on and think, look where I got to.
One of the ways that I've steered myself away from the suicidal thoughts and getting into that sort of suicidal mindset is by teaching myself a more positive use of words. Yeah. So, I mean, my grammar's awful, but by using words rather than, you know, I've always been bad at that, or that's not something I'm brilliant at, find another way of doing it and try and retrain my mind to stop saying, you're worthless, you're useless.
Yeah,
you know.
and I cannot begin to tell you just how something like today helps in terms of, you know, when you get those low points, you start talking to people, you're helping others, you're sharing your own stories, and that is a positive that we all should build on.
What I found is art and writing really helped me. Like, I'll just, because I have to see things. If I can't see it, then it's almost like, oh, it's all right, you don't have to accept it, sort of thing. And but if I can see it out in front of me in words or images, then I can sort of start making sense of it.
It's about doing as much as possible that makes me happy, and having things to always look forward to, because that was probably why I ended up down in that place. I thought I had nothing to look forward to. So now I will plan to do things which I wouldn't normally do. Like, I try and do runs, and I want to do a marathon, and I want to go volunteering. And because if you have those things, I mean, everyone says you can't help others until you've helped yourself, which is true. But at the same time, I want to focus on helping others, because that keeps me
I think
on this
by
path.
helping others, that does help you.
Yeah.
And it's payback, isn't it?
I think part of the problem is we do listen to what other people say and what their opinions are, and if someone says, you know, you're being selfish, or pull yourself together, or you can't help others until you've helped yourself, we take all this on board.
I feel like I'm not afraid to have that conversation with people anymore, because you can see it in some people's, just in their mannerisms, how they are. And whereas I used to be, now from experiencing it myself, I wish so much I'd had that person just to say, like, just to ask me how I was.